Hi everyone, welcome to today's live stream. They're gonna be doing some grouts and it's like our final day in this project. So we're gonna make it look nice and clean and then finally everything will blend together. So stay tuned and let's go. So I'm gonna start by wiping these tiles so the grout won't stick too heavy. And I'll be moving row by row. This is large format tile, so it should be quite quick, and all the grout joints are nice and clean. So should be a quick process for the walls for large format. And then we're gonna switch to the pebble stone or river stone, whatever you want to call it. Thank you for joining. So yeah, there is almost no joints here. It will be really quick for the walls, but we need to make sure we are pressing it in quite deep. And our floor will receive the same grout, so I don't worry much if something will fall down. And since this tile is porcelain, it shouldn't be drying too quick, so we can give it some time before we need to wipe it off. So let me know in the chat how are you doing today, how is your day going, and if you have any questions just drop them in the chat. So the gap between the ceiling and the wall, I will just use white caulking to make it blend with the ceiling, because ceiling is not quite even. So you also want to push the grout in the gap between the shoulder edge profile. Make sure it's gonna be nice and solid there. Just like that. This tile is not glazed, so I'm not gonna be afraid of scratching anything, because if it was glazed tile, I would have to probably reconsider if I can use sanded grout or not. Yeah, you see it's quite quick with large format. Thank you for joining, everyone. Hi, Gilbert, Matar. Hi, Ludwig Hald. Good to see you. What's your name? My name is Dmitry. Simon, hi everyone. Thank you for joining. So let me know in the chat if you have any questions. What's up? I'm streaming. Okay. Good to see you, my friend.
Ты вообще заметил, что без картинки? Ага, даже не заметил, видишь?
Я хотел спросить.
Ага.
У тебя тут пылючка.
Конечно, это специально.
Окей. Давай. Guys, give this live stream a like and don't forget to subscribe. Actually, you see, it's quite easy. Like, I can already start wiping it off because it's, it's quite easy. The tile is flush, so I'll be making nice finish probably right away, guys. And if you mix it nice and right, consistency, you can do it and it won't affect nothing. Yeah, just like that. It looks already cool, so no need to press too hard. and we have nice and tiny lines. Yeah, looks beautiful. Just make sure you rinse your sponge, and yeah, just keep doing that and you'll have a nice finish like I do. Yeah, this is one of the advantages, guys, of large format. You can do it right away, and if you have thin joints, your sponge, it won't wash and wipe the necessary amounts of the grout from the joint, so you'll have it still nice and even. Every time when I wipe it next to that trim, I move towards the edge, and then I give one wipe just to kind of line it up. But you see, it's already completed here, and we can move down, and the tile is pretty clean. So I usually don't put any grout in the inside corners because you want them to be flexible and expand and contract, and we'll fill them with color matching caulking, guys. So let me know in the chat how are you doing today. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat, and let's continue. So I'll also wipe on these tiles just like so, just to make it wet so it don't stick to the surface of the tile, which is completely unnecessary. And I'll focus more on the like walls now, and then at the very last thing I'll do the river stone here. По-моему, все, что есть. Осталось это буквально несколько штук. Может быть, на столе, Костя. Thank you for joining, guys. Like and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. So I'm in the process of finishing this bathroom, and today is a grout day, so I'm using Mapei Ultra Color FA Plus grout here, which is like pretty much sanded. They call it grout sand replacement, grout replacement, because it's not actual sand in it. It's like a silica or whatever, like a teeny tiny small glass pretty much. So it can be not that scratchy and also more stronger than sand. And since we have a small tiny joints like 1/16, we need to make sure we press them nice and good. Okay, that one is ready, and we can move here. I always like to do, like when I work and I plan my niches, I always like to make them so they are symmetrical, which is exactly like at the center you have half tile here, and then I have my Schluter profile, and I keep the gaps small around the perimeter just like the rest of them, because this porcelain, it is really possible to do it with this porcelain since they cut it on the factory, so it has nice and equal dimensions and square corners. So that's why I was able to make nice and thin joints. So yeah, and I usually wrap and I put my Schluter outside, so you can see this nice black bracket. It's gonna have like black finishes as well. and it matches with the dark river stone as well. So this is a fast setting grout, so we have to be quick on that. And like I said, I like to wipe it off right away. I mix it so it is nice and easy to do. Just don't press it too hard and you'll be able to achieve nice finish, and you don't even need to wait for that actual right time that's on the box, on the package. You can wipe it right away, just like so. And I like to cut my Schluter trim on the miter saw with a, I'm just using a standard dab blade. You have to be really careful because if you go too fast, you can just pretty much pull it out of your hand and you can be seriously injured. So be careful. But this is the way I do it, and it looks extremely nice, and you don't have to have those rough edges compared to if you use the wet saw, like a special guide that you can use for it. So I always like to wipe the tile before, and this is the way how manufacturer says pretty much you have to deal with it, because it becomes slightly wet, the grout doesn't stick to too much, and also it gives you a little bit extra water, so you can, like, if you mix it the way I do, which is not that kind of creamy, then when you apply it on the wall, it becomes the right consistency. Pro workmanship, looks amazing, especially with dark inserts. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Let me show you the floor. It's the same pebble stone, like river stone on the floor, so it looks even better there. So thank you very much. Lion Cave Game, Hassan Naber. I'm sorry I can't quite translate it, but thank you for joining Lion Cave Game. Thank you guys. Give this live stream a like by double tapping the screen and subscribe to the channel as well. So this is a new home build, so they have all sorts of dirt everywhere. Pretty much there's no gravel outside, so I don't want to put any dirt on my tile, and I'll just wipe it, so then I don't have to have my tile messed up. So now I'll just move my step ladder and we'll continue working on the bottom. Thank you for joining, everyone, guys. Thank you for your likes. Subscribe as well. Okay, so usually, even though it's a fast setting, I always able to do the whole shower in one kind of pass. So especially with this large format, you see it's not a lot of grout joints, so usually it's pretty quick. And I already applied sealer on that river stone yesterday, so it's nice and cured today, and it will make my grout work even easier, because this is not just a regular sealer, it's a sealer and enhancer. So what it does, since this is a flat river stone, they polished it, so it's like pretty much sanded and has like a matte finish. So in order for me to have it nice and even and dark like it is, you have to seal it, and you have to use a sealer that will penetrate and stay, so it will look almost like it's constantly wet. And you can achieve it only by using that sealer slash enhancer. Also, like little life hack, if you, let's say, I have quite few homeowners who hired me to deal with their showers that were messed up. Pretty much somebody put the grout and they haven't removed it at the right time, so the whole shower needs to be redone. And sometimes if you have the not that crazy amount of grout on your walls, you can use that tile sealer slash enhancer in order to just seal that grout. And when it's wet, sometimes it doesn't show up on the surface that much, so you can fix that problem just by applying that sealer on your shower that was messed up, just in case if it might help someone with their work and with their repair. So I'm gonna wipe it off right away. Like I said, I'm not gonna wait any cure time, nothing, because I can make it nice and look, and then I don't have to worry about it, because sometimes you can have like about under the ceiling, it's quite warm there, all the warm and hot air goes up. Lower you have it more cool, so you want it to be like to dry evenly, but it's not quite possible, and sometimes you might have problems cleaning it on the top. And that's why usually if I would just do my wall, sometimes you might want to start from the bottom and finish on the top, so then you can wipe off the top right away because it dries much quicker. So okay, and also good thing about the sealer that I put on that river stone is that you can use your grout and it will have the like a water repellent effect. So when you apply your grout, it doesn't stick to the stone. And actually those stones on the package, usually it says that it has to be sealed before like prior the grout, which is exact reason why they say that, because you want all the pores to be sealed and grout not to stick to it, because you might just ruin your beautiful stone and everything. So that's why, guys. Let me check the chat. Okay. Wow, that only took a month. I do this kind of work and that should take 3 days. Uh, Jason, you are a beautiful specialist, and I'm glad that you are super fast. So just keep doing the good work. And like, if you wanna, you can just start your own channel, man, and people would be saying how good you are and how fast you are, how quick. So that's like, you can feel free to do that. But yep. Hi, Ayo. I'm sorry, it's even hard for me to pronounce. I don't want to misspell your name. Thank you for joining. Guys, like this live stream by double tapping the screen and subscribe to the channel. So let's continue, guys. I'm gonna probably bring my tripod a little bit closer so you can see it closer and better. Guys, give this live stream a like and subscribe as well. Okay. So every time when you do your grout, you want to make sure you press in your grout nice and good into the joint, because sometimes when you do installation, it's like usually the hardest part on the corners to apply the thin set and make sure there's no like cavities. And when you put your grout and you press it in, especially into those like intersections and corners, it kind of goes right under there and it fills those cavities. So you give yourself some extra insurance that your work will stay beautiful and no problems will occur in the future. Just like so. And also because I was able to clean that kind of stuff while I was installing, so I was wiping the edges of the tiles right away, and I was cleaning since every other day. Then you can just do your grout work and have nice, beautiful, clean end result. And like I said, I won't be filling the inside corners because I want to leave the expansion gap. And I will put the caulking so it will flex in the corner, not crack. As compared to the grout, you'll have your grout crack in there. So that thing is called mud guard, and usually you use it when you have like wet application and stuff like that. And with modern systems like Schluter, usually you have like the seal that they give you that you should use. But this particular project, I was asked not to use that thing because their plumber likes to be able to have access to those fittings and connections, and for him it was easier to do when you have that square box, not just like a round piece. So it's kind of the way it is. So I just put some grout around it, just in case, because sometimes those faucet seals and stuff, you want to always make sure like on each stage you went extra mile, and like if seal on the faucet doesn't hold, then you have the grout. If the grout doesn't like hold the seal for some reason, then you have waterproofing, and I also sealed my go board there. So I mean, I make sure always that it's not going to be a problem for me in the future. Yeah, and I'm gonna wipe it right away because it's quite easy to do and it doesn't shrink much. And after it cures, I will just clean that residue and it will be good to go. And I'm gonna be using the same color of the grout on that floor, so I don't worry much about the grout that might fall down. And also, I already put the sealer on the floor, on the stone, so there will be no problem with it because it's sealed. It doesn't stick so good as it if it was just a regular thing, just not sealed stone. It would have stick really bad. Okay, let's make it wet again, and wear last elements for this wall. So usually you want to have your curb installed before you do the tile, but in that case there will be other contractors who will be installing the vanity top and the curb as well. So they asked me to just to proceed with tile, and they will take care of that. So that's one of the things that I wanted to mention. But usually you wanna have your curb installed before. It's much more easier than to deal with, and also your water. It's again the same reason. Like you have the curb under, and when the water goes down, it kind of then proceeds down into your pan. But if you have the bed seal with your caulking, silicone, whatever they use, it might seal into, like leak into the gap and start leaking down there. That's why if you have a choice, you better do different way. Do the curb first. So that's it. I'll probably give a wipe to that floor section as well, since I'm done with that over here, just in case. So it's better have it clean. And we will switch to the back wall. I will change the angle of the camera, guys, of the tripod, so you can see me well. And then we'll proceed. Let me see if you have any questions. Thank you for joining, guys. Like and subscribe to the live stream. Double tap the screen to give it a like. And thank you for joining, everyone. So we'll switch to this wall, and it will be nice and quick here as well. So you can see those small strips here, and they will be covered with casing. So I'll be also the one to install that casing. So I'll take care that it's waterproof and sealed and all that stuff. So I'm gonna get my sponge with water, and I'll give it a wipe just to make sure it's nice and clean here, and that the grout won't stick too much to the surface. And usually I try not to spread it a lot, not to have it all over the tile, but just where it actually needs the grout, just like that. So in this case, one of the reasons why I decided to go with PVC casing is because you see those teeny tiny strips around the window. Every time when you do your layout, you need to like make sure where your tile is gonna go and how it's gonna go. So I planned my floor height, so I have exact height, and there's a full piece on the bottom. I didn't cut no piece, didn't scribe it, because it's all level and it's much easier to deal with the full tile, not to have to score any tiles. And then I have a full tile over here on the top. So, but with the window place here also, it gives me those two strips. So if I'll put the trim and face trim, it will just cover those tiny strips. And also you see those cuts here. You don't want to have like a full piece here, like L-shaped piece, because that house will move and then it will crack somewhere just randomly because it would want to flex. So you better dictate it where to crack, and it's going to be right here. And with the casing also, it's going to be behind the casing and all sealed with flexible caulking, so it won't be a problem at all. So that's the reason, if somebody was guessing why do you have this like pieces here and window is not finished, you don't have trim. And also when I checked with my laser, I noticed that the window is not quite level. So if I would have put the black Schluter trim, it would emphasize the crookedness of that window, which is what not you want to do. So by using that white trim, it will just blend with the frame, and no one will ever see that there is any difference between the level, because the window sill, you want it to be level, and also kind of pinch towards the shower, so then water will slide down. I won't be putting also grout in that particular joint. I will put like a silicone. If a little bit of grout will go there, it's not a big problem, but I'll just use that caulking, and it will be flexible also. It won't push none of these pieces then, but if it was grout, it might just fall out from the crack. So every time you want to make sure you press into that joint and the grout goes nice and deep, not just on the surface, because I've seen some, like, I could have been really quick and just slap each joint and it's ready, but you want to make sure you have nice and full coverage here. The same stuff for this corner, like I don't do the inside corners, I will just caulk them, and you see how fast it goes with the large format tile, really quick. So I'll be doing that top with just white caulking, because ceiling is uneven and I want to make sure it will blend with the ceiling as well. So you see, there are a few ways always to make sure your work looks more beautiful than just less beautiful. And it takes some patience and some intelligence as well. So I'm just sharing those details, guys. So if you do your own projects, or maybe it's like DIY or the homeowner, whoever, like, you might implement those solutions into your bathroom, and you can avoid some of the mistakes that people have sometimes in their bathrooms. So let's see. So I want to say that, like, this tile is 12 by 24 inches, and I would consider it the best size to choose for your walls if you don't do mosaics and stuff like that. It's probably the best. It's probably the best size. So I'm gonna get a sponge and give it a wipe. I will clean it right away, guys. Thank you for joining, for staying tuned. Hi, Heidi. Hi, Franco Caldrini. Hi, Sodi. Hi, everyone, guys. Thank you for joining. Give this live stream a like by double tapping your screen, and please consider subscribing to the channel as well. It will help me to create more videos and be more often live on the YouTube as well. So thank you for your support, everyone, for spending your time and joining me here. So, like I said, I'm cleaning this tile right away. I'm not gonna wait for cure time, nothing, because it's pretty warm on the top and it dries pretty quick. And also, I usually let my tiles sit for a few days, so all the moisture from the sunset can evaporate. And usually the manufacturer says that you better put your grout after 2 days from the installation date, so you can let the moisture go out. So usually if you have an option and you have like I have different kind of projects in this house, I can switch from one to another and give this the right time to kind of dry. Or if you have like other projects that you work on and you can switch from one to another, it's always better to give it the proper time suggested by manufacturer. So as you can see, it's already nice and clean, and I don't press with my sponge a lot, and because I wiped it with my sponge before I put the grout, it's really easy to remove any excess, and that's it. So let's continue, guys. I'll wipe the tile right here. and it goes fairly quick with the it's a large format tile and sanded grout, guys. So I would suggest using the same stuff. It's made by Mappe, and I like it a lot. They make pretty nice products. For the Synset and stuff, I like Schluter the most. They have really impressive chemicals that they use in their showers in the Synset formula, so it stick to the tile like crazy. I never seen the Synset that would look better and stick better, so I would suggest that. Okay, so we wipe that stuff, and now I can set my step ladder in here and we can continue. And it also takes like just a little bit of a grout. Most of the grout that I mixed go on the floor because I have that river stone. And also when you choose your grout, you want to have the color that will match and blend your tile, unless you're doing it intentionally to emphasize certain things. Sometimes it can be contrast, but again, you need to make sure that your tile is installed right, and if you have some crooked joints, you might not want to use the contrast tile because it will emphasize. Like the guy who taught me tile setting when I was just a kid, he said you can make your beautiful tile look even more beautiful by putting the grout the right way, or he said you can ruin the beautifully installed tile work by doing the grout wrong, which I've seen many times people do. So when you deal with this tile, with this type of grout, it's considered fast setting. So one of the reasons why you want to wipe it right away, especially if you're not like a skilled tile setter, is because it's much easier to control it. Like it can start curing on you, it usually happens like at the moment where you never expect it. So it will just start curing and you'll be like, I have to wipe it right away, and you won't be able to wipe it right away. And believe me, I've been there, so it's not a good place to be. Guys, give this live stream a like by double tapping your screen, and also subscribe to the channel so you can see updates and new content, and join new live streams if you want to hang out and talk or ask your questions and get the answer on it. Because if you have any questions, you can drop them in the chat and I will check and I'll get back to you right away. It usually takes some time for me before I can see it, because I mean, when you do the grout, you can just drop everything and stop. You have to kind of work in a certain pattern. So like I said, you have to always make sure you press it deep into the joints, especially where you have intersections, so it can go into and kind of spread under it, because you never know how much Synset you got there. Sometimes maybe you skipped something, and when you have it filled with grout, it can give you some extra bonding strength there, so it's much better. So I'm not gonna be filling that corner between the bench and the wall, because I want it to be flexible and remain flexible. So if I will fill it with grout all the way,